Monster, by its literal definition, is a large, frightening, and ugly creature. But why? Why has every culture, from cave walls to cinema screens, imagined something in the dark waiting to devour us? The simplest answer is fear. Our ancestors being pussies is quite literally what kept us alive. Being afraid of the dark, of strange noises, and of scary-looking creatures helped us to live on. Now let me ask you, what's your monster? What is it you fear? We all have one, and in a rare moment of vulnerability, allow me to share with you all my childhood monster. There's no version of this story that I'm about to tell you guys that won't make you guys think I'm joking or doing a bit, but I assure you, everything I'm about to tell you is real and extraordinarily serious and personal to me. My childhood monster, the demon that kept me up at night like no other, was Ronald McDonald. The red hair, the painted smile, the soulless cheer. He was it for me. Other kids feared the dark. I feared this clown's penis. For about 5 years, between the ages of 5 and 11, I genuinely could not sleep with my back to the door, because every time I did, I'd have a recurring nightmare of Ronald McDonald's chasing me, and no matter how fast I was, and believe me, I ran, motherfucker. I ran my little heart out, but the clown was faster. He'd catch me, lift me into the air, bend my legs into a pretzel, and breathe. The dream would always end there before he would. To this day, I don't know what that breathing meant. Disappointment, satisfaction, yearning. But to 5-year-old me, it was terror incarnate. Looking back, the fear being represented was most certainly of my cheeks being taken, because I am straighter than an arrow. But the funny thing is, that's what monsters do. They don't just scare us, they chase us through our dreams until we figure out why we're running. Mine just happen to be, all rapey and wear clown shoes and play the party looked. So on this spooky Halloween night, let's ask the question, what was the first monster, the very first name we gave to fear itself? We'll start in the 2000s and, work further back than you could possibly imagine, listing every notable monster in human history along the way, until we arrive at the progenitor. Without further ado, let us begin. In 2009, the world saw rise to Slender Man, fear of the internet. In 2002, the world saw rise to Samara, fear of technology. In 1984, the world saw rise to Freddy Krueger, fear of guilt. In 1979, the world saw rise to the Xenomorph, fear of the unknown. In 1969, the world saw rise to Sean John Combs, fear of the Diddler. In 1958, the world saw rise to the Blob, fear of the unknown. In 1954, the world saw rise to Godzilla, fear of the nuke. In 1937, the world saw rise to William Henry Cosby Jr., fear of unattended drinks. In 1928, the world saw rise to Cthulhu, fear of the universe. In 1897, the world saw rise to Dracula, fear of sexuality. In 1819, the world saw rise to zombies, fear of the undead. In 1818, the world saw rise to Dr. Frankenstein's monster, fear of defying nature. In 1700, the world saw rise to the vampire, fear of disease. In 1600, the world saw rise to the Wendigo, fear of cannibalism. In 1500, the world saw rise to Dybbuk, fear of unresolved sin. In 1300, the world saw rise to the Draugr, fear of the dead's return. In 1000, the world saw rise to Jormungandr, fear of the cycle of life. In 100, the world saw rise to the Basilisk, fear of death. In 500 BC, the world saw rise to Leviathan, fear of the uncontrollable. In 700 BC, the world saw rise to Typhon, fear of storms. In 700 BC, the world saw rise to the Minotaur, fear of the wild. In 700 BC, the world saw rise to Medusa, fear of ugly niggas. In 700 BC, the world saw rise to the werewolf, fear of the wild. In 1400, the world saw rise to Tiamat, fear of chaos. In 1500, the world saw rise to Rakshasa, fear of desire. In 2100, the world saw rise to the first literary monster, Humbabu, fear of the wild. In 2300, the world saw rise to Apep, fear of darkness. In 2500, the world saw rise to Lamashtu, fear of baby mothers. In 30,000 to 10,000 BC, the world saw rise to hybrid cave beasts, fear of predators. And in 40,000 BC, the world saw rise to the Lion Man, fear of the wild. So, there you have it. 30 or 29 or 28 monsters, I think, I put on the list. I mean, the dates, I'm not going to lie, are a bit iffy, just because in almost every instance, past, 1500, these monsters have an oral history that predates their, big debut onto the clay tablets, but, tracking down when that oral myth started is all but impossible. And then just some monsters were just so werewolves, whoa, I could have gone all the way back to the Epic of Gilgamesh with Humbabu. That's how far back it could have gone, but at the same time, it's do I want to go with the one that's more recognizable, or when it actually started? Look, game's the game. Hey, look, happy Halloween, motherfuckers, I'm out.